Hello, and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to talk about brand loyalty. This is something that a lot of people might get conflated with fanboyism and stuff like that. So I kind of want to talk about this just because of the comments I usually get in my comment section about me never being a PlayStation guy and blah 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 and stuff like that. And I kind of want to touch on this because there are fanboys, and then there's, you know, people that are just brand loyal, and I'm one of those type of people that does tend to be a brand loyal type person. I mean, this is my 10th Samsung phone, so yeah, I'm guilty of being a brand loyalist. All through the PlayStation generation, all through the PlayStation existence, yeah, I've been a pretty brand loyal person. I have had every single PlayStation all the way up to the newest one. So, like, I get brand loyalty, guys. Like, I completely get it. My brand loyalty with PlayStation, though, was pretty much borderline freaking fanboy. Really, like, fanboy. Like, PlayStation could do no wrong. And, you know, I mean, like, I've always bought every console, you know. I mean, Xbox, the original Xbox 360. I was literally so trapped in my little fanboyism at the beginning of last generation with the PlayStation 4 that I really was content on not buying an Xbox that whole generation. I had I had pretty much was just like, whatever, I'm not even going to buy an Xbox this generation. I don't care. PlayStation 4 is freaking all I need, and it's the best thing ever. Yeah, and that one game, that Forza Horizon 4, like, really was that Forza Horizon 3 Blizzard Mountain was like, man, I want to play that. So I went out and bought an Xbox Series S and that game. That Series S actually came with the Gears 4 and all of the Gears, actually. So, I mean, I was like, that's cool, you know, $300 for this. I get all these games, like, whatever, you know, I'll go home and play my Forza Horizon. And I literally fell in love with that game. That's the first time I'd ever played the Forza Horizon series. So then I went back and I bought 2, and I played around with 2 a lot. And I mean, suffice it to say, that whole year with Xbox, I mean, I would pick up, you know, like Recon and, you know, all of their first party games, but I only bought Ghost Recon Wildlands and For Honor on the Xbox, and that was because, you know, like, I honestly, the son-in-law had Ghost Recon on his Xbox, so I bought that so we could play together on the Xbox. But as soon as the PlayStation, you know, as soon as I got the 4K TV, I went and bought that game again on the PlayStation 4 Pro, you know. So I was like, all right, you know, and then I was right back into my little whole PlayStation thing, and, you know, starting to look down on the Xbox at that point again, because I was like, wow, man, this thing's 4K and that one's like blah blah blah. And like, I was starting to get back into that mindset just after only having that for, you know, a few months, and I was like, ooh, boy, wow, this is pretty rough, you know. So then, you know, the Xbox One X came out, and I'm a major Assassin's Creed fan. Like, I had already bought Assassin's Creed Origins on the PlayStation 4 Pro and had already beat the game. I bought that Xbox One X, like, right when it came out. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go get that. You know, it's supposed to be the 4K machine. It'll do 4K, whatever. I bought that, and then I got Assassin's Creed Origins on sale that same time, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy it. I had already bought Wolfenstein 2, Mafia 3, so many other games on that Pro. Like, I had already bought all those games. I mean, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I buy a lot of games. So I'd already bought all of these games on the PlayStation 4 Pro. And I was like, woo, yeah, I had Skyrim, everything. Next thing you know, I got that Xbox One X, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy that Assassin's Creed. So I bought the Assassin's Creed half off, and I started playing it, and I was like, wow, this is a freaking drastic. I mean, this is so drastic, it's not even funny. Like, it looks great on this thing. So I bought Wolfenstein 2, and I was like, whoa, this is great too. And I bought all them freaking games that I already had on the PlayStation 4 Pro on the Xbox One X. And I was like, man, I don't like, I was conflicted bad. Like I was literally like, oh my gosh, man, this is like, I was so depressed for, I'm not even lying. Like I was literally depressed. I was so irritated with the PlayStation 4 Pro and just how much better that Xbox One X was doing. So I was just like, you know what, man? Like whatever, you know, I was pretty upset about that because I was so brand loyal to PlayStation that I couldn't get over the fact that this Xbox is playing these games better, and that PlayStation 4 Pro is supposed to give me 4K. And then as time went on with that generation, I started seeing more games dropping on the PlayStation 4 Pro that were 1080p, where the Xbox was either 1440p or almost to 4K. And I was like, this is a freaking joke. This is a joke. This is so bad that I just don't know what to do. And so my hype for Xbox started growing just because of how much better my third-party games were playing on that. By the time we got to the end of the generation, the only things I bought on PlayStation 4 were literally the exclusives. You know, God of War, all of that stuff. I bought every exclusive on that PlayStation 4 Pro that was from Sony. You know, Final Fantasy, stuff like that. Just, that was the only thing I bought on that PlayStation going forward. Did I play those games? Oh, yeah. Did I enjoy them? Yeah. Did they look great? Yes, they were perfect. They were exactly, I was so happy that I got that experience on the PlayStation 4 Pro that I didn't feel like it was the Xbox One X was completely leaving the PlayStation 4 Pro in the dust. But that was only good for those PlayStation first party games. Like, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, it was just a much better investment to buy those games on the Xbox, those third party games on the Xbox, because I was going to get a better resolution. I was going to get a better experience. So fast forward all the way to, you know, November 10th, when Xbox Series X launched. Yeah, I had my pre-order in for that day one. I had an email from Sony to get my PlayStation 4 or my PlayStation 5 right then and there. They sent me an email. I could have got it right there at launch. I was so content with just buying Xbox Series X at the start of this generation that I didn't even worry about getting the PlayStation 5 at launch. Had I known how hard or how difficult it was going to be moving forward to try to find one, I probably would have just picked that up too at the same time. But luckily, I was able to get that a few months later. You know, I had plenty of time on my Xbox, you know, just playing old games, upgraded old games, which was great. Like, I was perfectly okay with that because I buy so many games that I generally need more time to actually play through a lot of them. So that was fine with me. All the games that really mattered, you know, Black Desert Online was able to run way better on the Series X. You know, games like Assetto Corsa Competizione was now giving me an experience that felt good and wasn't 30 frames a second. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like, I was happy. I was dead set, you know, with the Xbox Series X this generation, that like I was seriously on the fence like I was in the beginning of last generation about not even getting a PlayStation this generation. I was really to the point where I was like, "Ooh, boy, man, could I?" And then the constant, like, you know, barrage of, you know, gosh, these things are hard to find. These things are hard to find. Finally got to me to the point where I was like, I'm going to get one. I'm just going to get one and be done with it so I can already have it, you know. And then it took me about a week. It didn't even take that long. I finally got one. And then I started buying all the freaking first party games and everything for the PlayStation 5. And I'm putting these in and I'm looking at them and I'm experiencing these, you know, like Miles Morales, and I'm, you know, like Demon's Souls and all these other games, you know, I'm experiencing these. And in the back of my head, I'm like, gosh dang, man, if only PlayStation would have had more power, you know, I could have been playing Demon's Souls at 4K 60, or I could have been, you know, or it could have had, like, you know, all these next gen bells and whistles, you know. And I kept thinking that in my mind, you know. So I mean, that bias was starting to kick in a little bit and was really starting to push me, you know, in a direction that, like, oh man, you know, the heck with PlayStation or whatever. And I was starting to get negative about it. And that was right around the time I started this channel. You know, I was like, I bought the PlayStation and a month later I started the channel, all because the PlayStation 5 lets you upload videos right to YouTube. So I was like, okay, cool. So, I mean, the reason this channel really exists is because of the PlayStation. So, I mean, once you get into this generation, and then like guys, it seriously wasn't until Deathloop came out that my mindset for PlayStation started to turn around and started giving me more of an experience that I actually appreciate more. Like I do believe the PlayStation is great. I do believe the Xbox Series X is great, and I believe the Series S is one hell of a freaking bang for your buck. What I'm saying is, like, we haven't really necessarily seen anything yet that really is like earth-shattering next gen. Like and that's the truth of it. That's literally the truth of it. We haven't yet to see that. The only game on the market right now that I consider the first true next gen game is Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that is because of the sheer size of that game, to be able to stream in the whole planet. That there to me is a next gen thing, more than visuals, because I was already getting 4K last generation on the Xbox One X. I was already achieving that, and PlayStation is barely giving me that, on a more consistent basis like the Xbox One X was last generation. So that's, kind of where my thing goes. But what I'm getting at with the whole brand loyalty thing is like I get it. I understand. I've been playing video games for a long time. I did. I was really caught up in that PlayStation mindset. And, sometimes I teeter way more toward the Xbox than I probably should, but at the end of the day, like, it all comes back to, I'm just grateful I get to play video games on both consoles without having to do mental gymnastics in my head anymore over which one's better. I don't do that no more. I have come to the conclusion that for the most part, I'm going to buy all my third-party games on Xbox Series X. But on the PlayStation, like, I'm still going to buy these games and stream them on my channel and stuff. So at the end of the day, I'm still going to be, watching both of these consoles grow this generation and experience the greatness that comes out of both of them without having to have some kind of weird bias in my head. I get to experience both of these and be happy. And that's what I want to bring to my community here on YouTube. I want you guys to understand that, yeah, my brand loyalty is fine. Like I said, 10th freaking Samsung phone right here. And I was about to get iPhone, but I'm glad I got this. We got my wife we got her the iPhone 13. And, holding them both up, dang, man, they both feel pretty premium. Like, I'm just glad that I get to experience both of those, and I'm content with the choice that I made that in this one. This Z Fold 3 is definitely essential for me as a creator. I love it. So I understand the brand loyalty. I understand that, everybody has their choice, but I'm saying life is so much better now that I have broken down my walls. So now I get to enjoy both and have a good time at that. Like, I'm not nitpicking the PlayStation as much as I was when I first got it. Like, I'm actually content, and I'm getting settled into a routine that I'm like, wow, yeah, this thing is actually pretty freaking cool. Like, I like it. I like the fact that, the PlayStation is doing a pretty good job. Yeah, there's a few little nitpick things, but at the end of the day, it's holding its own pretty good right now. I mean, later in the generation, we might see like some difference, some major differences or anything. But for the most part, like, it's holding its own pretty good. And it's delivering an experience that if I only had a PlayStation 5, I would be completely satisfied with that. So I don't want to see any more of your guys' negative, rude comments about me not being a PlayStation guy. I really don't. Because I have spent I've spent a lot of money in the PlayStation ecosystem over the years. And I'm just as qualified as any other gamer on this planet that's been playing games for over 35 years to be able to speak his mind and share that with you. I mean, you got to remember, you're the one that clicked on my video to see what I had to say, and to come down and like call me names or question me. It's like, come on, man. I'm putting in the work to create these videos and put them out there for you to watch them. The least you could do is, at least listen to what I have to say instead of just being completely rude to me. I mean, I don't really care. I got thick skin. Like it is what it is. You can say whatever you want. I welcome I welcome everybody's opinion, and I read your comments, and I look at them, and I think about them, and I'm like, wow, man, what did I do to, could I have explained myself? Could I have communicated better? My thoughts on this subject. But at the end of the day, even your rude comments have helped me grow and helped me change, some of the way I look at things, because a lot of people are right. I was starting to sound, I've went back and watched a couple of my videos, and yeah, I can understand how those might seem a little bit biased, or more toward Xbox, but let's get something straight. Like, this channel here is going to be a pro Xbox. Like, I'm going to celebrate Xbox, but I'm still going to celebrate PlayStation when there's something on PlayStation that I really like and care about. Like, rest assured, when you see me excited about Xbox, there's going to be that thing that launches on PlayStation that's going to make me equally excited. And if you don't believe me, go watch my Death Stranding review. I'm going to have good experiences on both. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to, and I'm going to share those with you. So, yeah, this is going to be great, man. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. So I will see you in the next one.